Welcome, everyone. My name is Jerry Socherman. I'm coming to you from the Southeast Florida chapter in Miami. I am the National Passion Fundraising Leadership Council Chair. I'm excited and thrilled to be here this evening for the first ever opportunity we've had to bring us all together to talk about one of my favorite subjects, passion fundraising. Although I now have many connections to CF, having been involved with the foundation since 2010, my direct connection is as the godfather to 12-year-old Delaney Binker, who's living with cystic fibrosis. As the chair of the Miami Great Strides for 9 years, I realized early on that in order for the overall walk to grow our fundraising totals, we would have to reach out through different avenues like passion fundraising. I've been passion fundraising since 2013, and with many events over the years, including our signature Kick CF Celebrity Kickball Tournament that just celebrated its 10th anniversary. I am passionate, pun intended, about passion fundraising, or RAP events as they were formerly known. Passion fundraising was responsible for $1.9 million in 2022, and that is incredibly undervalued, as we know hundreds of volunteers and families are raising funds through passion events that are not counted in those figures. I believe for many years that passion events are and have been a major contributor to the overall fundraising dollars of peer-to-peer events, and which is now expanded into many aspects of fundraising throughout the CF Foundation, including finest events, themed events, and more. So tonight we are launching passion fundraising into the forefront. We've got an incredible evening for you. We're going to hear from Julie Reidy from Metro DC chapter about our new toolkit that the Leadership Council and the CF Foundation has been working on for the last year. We're thrilled to have two community members share with us their experience in creating and hosting passion events. Jamie Roney from the Alabama chapter will share how you too can host an Egg My Yard, and Taylor Lentz from the South Carolina chapter, who recently hosted her first CF Bites. She'll walk us through how she got started and how she leveraged her local community to help execute her event. We'll then break out into small groups so we can share and learn from one another. After, we'll come back together for some closing remarks, and several volunteers, including myself, have offered to stay on the line to answer additional questions you might have, or simply just continue to connect. We encourage you to utilize the Q&A and chat features. Please keep an eye on the chat for direct access to resources that we'll be sharing this evening. It's now my pleasure to introduce Julie Reidy. Julie has been volunteering with the CF Foundation for over 20 years. She got involved when dating her now husband, Chad, who has cystic fibrosis. Dedicated to finding a cure for all with CF, Julie has hosted many passion fundraisers, including fitness events, brewery nights, co-chaired a casino night, and more. She was the co-chair of the National Volunteer Leadership Conference and enjoys working with the Mentor Program. Julie and Chad live in Alexandria, Virginia, with their 2 sons and faithful pup, Bodie. Without further ado, the incomparable Julie Reidy.
Thank you so much, Jerry. I'm very honored and excited to be here with everyone tonight. Tonight, I get to share with you the many new and improved passion fundraising resources. As passion fundraisers ourselves, we saw the need to develop tools to support you and all you do within your local communities to fundraise on behalf of the CF Foundation. We hope that the resources will not only generate ideas, but also make it easier for you to host your own events. The first resource I would like to introduce to you is our Passion Fundraising Flyer. This resource has more than 65 events of all shapes and sizes, and they're broken into categories. As Jerry mentioned, my favorites are the passion events that include fitness, and I've held some successful events at Orange Theory Fitness and some local spinning studios. Some of our Leadership Council members have hosted parties like Mom Prom, a 5K event called Running with Straws, Egg My Yard, kickball tournaments, spaghetti dinners, and more. The sky is truly the limit with passion fundraising. We're going to drop a link to this resource in the chat, so please take the time to look through this at your leisure. The next resource I'm going to review is the newly developed Passion Fundraising Toolkit. This web-based toolkit is a one-stop shop for all available resources, which are organized by tiles to help guide you through your planning process. The first tile you'll see is an overview of fundraising guidelines. This includes a quick reference guide and fundraising activities that are CF Foundation approved. They will provide you with a snapshot of fundraising policies and, if needed, offer some alternative suggestions to make your event both successful and compliant. The next tile will help you get started. The CF Foundation now has the option to host passion fundraising events for all special event campaigns, including Finest, themed events, peer-to-peer events like Great Strides, Cycle, Rose Up, and Climb. If you're not associated with one of these events, you can host a general community event, all while utilizing the online passion fundraising platform. If you have questions of how to get started, please reach out to your local chapter for more detailed directions and support. The user guide will walk you through steps to take customizable ideas and take your page, sell tickets, add images, and more. A common question we hear from volunteers is asking how they can grow your event. The Grow Your Event tile will help you with this. We've included tips for leveraging your connections within your community that include support of donated time, product, marketing, and more. Whether you're hosting an event for the first time or looking to grow, please check out our brainstorming document. There is something in here for everyone. We also hear that ticket pricing can be very tricky. You need to factor in so many things, including food, drink, site fees, printing, and more. And all of these costs need to be considered when determining what to charge for your event. There's an Excel document that you can download, and it includes directions on how to use resources, provides a sample budget, and my favorite, gives a ticket price calculator. We've included a sample for you on the screen. This is an example of a 5K event. What I love most about this feature is that the Excel document will calculate all of these totals for you automatically. Here, you can see we've accounted for food, beverage, and a giveaway prize, such as a medal or a t-shirt. And then you can see there were also some miscellaneous expenses, which get included in the fee. The calculator calculates for you that the cost per person was just over $16. So tickets should be a minimum of $32. I'm a math teacher, but I think not doing the math is also pretty great. This is a super tool. For those of you who host silent auctions, we now have both generic and customizable auction donation forms and letters that can be downloaded directly from our site. This should make your solicitation much easier. I know I've shown you a lot of helpful resources, but there are a few more we'd love to feature. These templates might be my favorite. Our Leadership Council members put together 4 templated events, including how to host a spaghetti dinner, a kickball tournament, an Egg My Yard event, and a fitness class. Each template gives you full detail on how to start, what to expect, everyday planning, promotion, and more. I should have mentioned that these templates could also be easily adapted for the event that you are passionate about. Please check them out. Finally, there are 3 more resources I want to bring to your attention. The first are CF Foundation talking points that you can use when promoting your event. You can easily copy and paste these messages into your social media and event materials. The next tile includes information on our matching gift program. This is an amazing way to double your dollars. Always remember to ask your participants if their company has a matching gift program. It's free money. We don't want to leave it on the table. And finally, we have a favorite asked questions section. This may answer any questions you need. If it doesn't, please reach out to your local chapter and they will help you. Jerry, I feel like that was a lot to share and not a lot of time, but hopefully these resources will give valuable help to our participants in their planning process. We'll be adding more resources over the course of the next year, so please let us know if you think anything's missing and be sure to come back. I encourage you to spend some time on this new Passion Fundraising Toolkit for inspiration and support. Back to you, Jerry.
Thanks so much, Julie, for sharing the new resources. We've we have available to best support the passion fundraising events in our community. I know Julie mentioned this, but we plan to continue to build on this resource. So if you have any suggestions for template events or any other resource that would be valuable, please drop those recommendations in the chat or email passion@cff.org. Next, we're going to hear from two dynamic volunteers who have successfully hosted passion events in their local community. Our first speaker is going to be Jamie Roney. She hosts an annual Egg My Yard event, which has become a popular passion event within the CF community and beyond. I know that there are many others across the country doing a similar event. Jamie resides in Huntsville, Alabama, and is passionate about funding research. Her daughter, Desi, is 7 years old and inspired Team Driving Miss Desi. What a clever team name. During her time studying to be a child life specialist and Montessori educator, she gained a deep appreciation for the place mothers hold in the role of bettering the lives of their children. After Desi was born, she understood firsthand how crucial it was to care for the caregiver. She shares all that she has learned in online courses, teaching other caregivers actionable steps and routines to joyfully and confidently care for themselves, their home, and family. She is thrilled to share her best practices fundraising with you. Here's Jamie.
Excellent. Thank you, Jerry. Welcome, everyone. I am Jamie Roney. Like Jerry said, we are in Huntsville, Alabama. I have 3 children. Desi is our oldest at 7. We have done multiple fundraising campaigns over the course of her life, but one that we have done for the last 5 years is Egg My Yard, and it's become a really fun tradition that's engaged the entire community. So that's what I'm going to kind of hit on a little bit more this evening. So much of the meat of what we do for Egg My Yard is in that toolkit that Julie mentioned earlier. So I'm not going to go through a detailed step-by-step because all that's in the toolkit and it's kind of explained there for you. But there's a couple of points that I've learned over the course of our time doing it that I want to be able to share. So the first thought I would really want you to consider is looking at passion.cff.org if you are considering having your own fundraising event, but you're not really sure exactly where to begin. So that's an easy rabbit hole to kind of look down and see maybe what could spur some ideas for you. But then if you have an idea of something that you want to do, I always say still go and look at the website and look at the wording. Look at what people say in their own fundraising events that you can then utilize a lot of their own best practices. How do they phrase things in your fundraising event? So my event obviously circles around Easter, and you're going to hear more about fundraising events that happen around the holiday. And I want to emphasize that I find that to be a really easy marriage of having a fundraising event paired with a holiday, because this is where you build a tradition. And this is where people want to come back and they want to continue to join in on whatever event that you're going to be having. So while my event circles around Easter and is Egg My Yard, then we've thought about moving into a 4th of July event and doing like a Flag My Yard. So what I'm going to talk about is kind of a nice skeleton to overlay onto a lot of different items that you could use in different holidays. So I'll talk about a couple of points, but there's 3 main points that I want you to walk away with from my time with you tonight. So number 1, it's so exciting to have a fundraising event because you think about what all the money is going to do, the changes it's going to make, the impact that it can bring. But when you are marketing your fundraising event, you have to sell this as an event. Don't focus on selling it as a fundraiser. It is a fundraiser, but market this, push this, and sell this as an event. That's going to be tip number 1. Then tip number 2 is become comfortable repeating yourself, because I think it's easy to build an event and maybe build your site on the Passion fundraising platform, and then you don't see tickets being purchased. And you're like, did I do something wrong? Is my idea not successful? But people have to hear something 6 times before they act on it. 6 times. So I think it's easy for us to kind of clam up and be like, I don't want to bother anyone. I don't want to continue talking about this. It's going to get old. No, 6 times minimum. So push this as an event and become comfortable repeating yourself, having material on social media that's shareable, inviting your friends to share so that the word gets spread, but continue to repeat yourself. Now, then there's being mindful of your audience. You don't want to overwhelm them. And it's very easy to think, I want to have a lot of different options for my fundraising event so that everyone can find a place and everyone can feel comfortable purchasing a ticket. The more options you have, the less likely you are that people are going to participate because they're going to get overwhelmed in making a decision. So limit your choices to your audience. For us, we have 3 options. 3. And it's honestly worked well for us the last 5 years. That we have now like upsell options that we'll do, which are great, but 3. The only decision they have to make is about which one. So not overwhelming your audience is always important. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to do this by yourself. For us, what we have found is I go ahead and plan about 3, sometimes even 4 nights of when I'm going to need people along the way. And that kind of becomes a natural, like for us, it's a girls' night get together. We sit in my living room on the floor and assemble everything that we need for that Easter event. So one night we're all counting eggs. Another night we're going to be stuffing the eggs, bagging them in the quantities, and then distributing based on which houses have ordered, kind of like building which delivery is going to be with which vehicle. And so doing that together for me as a mom is perfect because I love getting together with my friends, but it's always nice when you kind of have a purpose. So don't feel that you have to do this by yourself. For us, we have people that help us distribute the eggs and hide them, and we call them bunny hoppers. And to make that a little more streamlined, I use a Google form that I've just have a couple quick questions, and then people can fill out that Google form. And inside of that, they're signing up by car and they'll put as many people as they want in their car. And then I will give them, however many houses to go to. And this is kind of like an old fashioned telephone game to where or like a phone tree, I guess. I have information that I then email out to those bunny hopper like cars, and then they distribute that information to their riders. So I'm not having to figure out who's all riding together, or like pairing people up. That's not my zone of genius. So sign up by car, and then they put however many people they want in their car. That's always helpful. So now during the event, this is where I hit hard on the fundraising aspect. So those bunny hoppers that are helping us hide, they come to our home. We have a tailgate for them, like a spread of food and snacks. And this is where I didn't realize that it was going to become such a time of bonding, but like a visiting and get together time, another like quick get together where people begin to look forward to this as, kind of like a pre-event. And so it's almost like just a perk of being part of the bunny hopper program. So finding a way to love on those people with tailgating has been enjoyable, but this is where I push the fundraising more. And so before they all disperse, I give them a spill about why this is important, what it is they're doing. To them, this is just hiding eggs, but there's so much more to that and why this is important. So that's going to be during the event. And now my third point that I really want you to keep in mind when you're walking away from here is nourishing your audience. Nourishing your audience. So at the end of our event, like Sunday, so Sunday morning, our event really takes place the night of Saturday into Sunday. People are always posting on social media. Keep in mind, I've encouraged the bunny hoppers to share and blast this all over social media so that more people see it and then next year want to be involved. So then Sunday morning, when everyone is sharing, photos of their children finding their eggs or, their children are running out with all their excitement, I take screenshots of that and I send an email to all the bunny hoppers with several photos of those children and those families. That way the bunny hoppers see everything come full circle. Because, they've been hiding, but now they get to actually see the faces and the excitement. So I email the bunny hoppers, and then I also email everyone that has purchased, like just a group, blind copy email, and basically saying thank you for ordering. This is a fun event, and we love being a part of your family's tradition. There's also a huge aspect to this event beyond the eggs, which is this amount of money was fundraised. This is why it's important, sharing your elevator speech at that point. I also invite them if they feel called to participate in some way or have their own fundraising event to support the CF Foundation. Here's our contact information, reach out to us. Then another part of nourishing that audience, save the emails of your bunny hoppers or your volunteers of whatever event that you're doing. Save the emails of the volunteers, save the emails of people that purchase. So that next year, when this event is coming around again and you're getting ready to market it, you have everything set together. You already have a warm audience who's ready to purchase again, and be prepared to go ahead and send out 6+ emails reminding them to purchase and to forward this email to their friends to join in. So those are going to be just some quick thoughts. Remember, market as an event, get ready to share multiple times, feel comfortable with that, and nourish your audience. Again, I'm driving Miss Desi. If you have any questions on anything in the future, I'm always happy to help. Check out the toolkit, and that is all for my time. Jerry, I will toss it back over to you.
Thanks so much, Jamie. Next, I'd like to introduce Taylor Lentz. Taylor, also known as Aubyn's mom, is here to share her experience hosting her CF Bites event for the first time in 2022. Her 6-year-old daughter, Aubyn, has cystic fibrosis. One crazy fun fact about her is that she went to the University of Kentucky for nursing school, and her first job out of school was at the UK Children's Hospital on a floor that took care of kids with cystic fibrosis, and she had no idea she was a carrier of the CF gene. Take it away, Taylor.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Like Jerry said, my name is Taylor Lentz, and I am Aubyn's mom. I am also the self-proclaimed queen of Halloween. And that is not only because I love Halloween or because my son is born on Halloween, but it is when my event is, CF Bites. We picked the theme of my event, or I picked my theme of my event, because I live in Charleston, which is a very social place. There's lots of events to go to. And October kind of seemed like a time where there wasn't really a big event, where all of my friends wanted to go to something. And so I figured that this would be a good time for me to start an event that people would want to come to year after year. And I knew that my community, my neighborhood, I live in a really big neighborhood that's very social. And I also knew that my network of people would really appreciate a Halloween party and would want to attend. And I think that's something that's really important to think about when you're thinking about starting a passion fundraiser, is one, having something that people are going to want to come to every year, year after year, just like Jamie said, something that's becomes a tradition. And also something that is going to appeal to your network of people, the people that you're going to bring to this event, something that they would enjoy and be excited about. So for me, it was a themed party. CF Bites is a big Halloween ball, I would say. It has music and food and drinks, and it's silent auction, and it's just a really fun night. And so I knew that the people that were going to come to an event to support Aubyn would really enjoy that sort of thing. It's also important, I think, to think of something that you will feel, I don't want to say comfortable, but excited about. And like I said, I love a themed party and I love Halloween. So I am so excited to plan CF Bites the second go around. But I think that's important too to think about, as something that you can kind of put your best foot forward and do your best to raise money. And for me, that was a fun night out dressed up. And when I say comfortable, that doesn't mean that you need to feel comfortable doing everything that event needs. I, like Jerry said, am a nurse. So writing emails, cold calling people, asking for sponsors, asking for donations, all of that was completely out of my wheelhouse. So you're not going to feel comfortable in doing all the things that happen, but you're going to be, once you get to that event or something, I just think you need to be excited about it. And that's because starting a new fundraiser or starting a event or doing something new can be pretty scary. And I think that it's also very important for passion fundraisers is to remember that there is strength and power in being vulnerable, with telling your story, cold calling, asking for donations, and even asking people to help you with your event. I had a lot of trouble doing that when I first started my event. I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I was going to need help. I obviously knew I was going to need donations, and it was really scary. And I will say that, like, getting over that being scared and being vulnerable, I gained so much, no matter, even though it was really hard. And I found it super, super rewarding and healing in some ways. And the CF story is so great. And I think that is one of the things that we need to lean into when you're passion fundraising. Every person that you talk to is a connection. And the more that they know about CF, the more they're going to want to be involved. Because I don't think I've ever talked to anyone and really gone into my story and talked about Obby and the foundation and anything that they've been like, oh, okay. No, everybody is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And they want to help more and more. So I think you also have to treat every interaction as a potential, like, gain in your network. Even if the answer is no, they can't donate this year, like, that's a potential yes in the future. So you always want to be nourished, just like Jamie said, nourishing those relationships. Every person you talk to, nourish that relationship. And when I decided I wanted to do a event, I was very lucky. The first thing I did was reach out to my local chapter, and they were wonderful. They met with me. I talked through my ideas. My first idea, like, didn't really work out. And so they stuck with me. And then eventually CF Bites kind of evolved. But I also got to be in touch with another mom, Sarah Shivler, the awesome Mom Prom mom. And I was able to talk to her because she kind of had a similar, event in some ways, that it was a social event. And so I got to meet her. I went to her event, and I really just sat back and watched and learned. And I think that's really important too, is learning from other people and asking those questions, because I think anyone who has had a passion fundraiser can say, like, it may look like they know what they're doing, but they are just trying their best. It's scary, but don't be scared of a no. Don't be scared to ask for what you want. Sarah, her famous words to me were like, I love a no. That means, that's fine. And then I'll move on. Don't be scared of that. Ask her what you want. And a lot of times you'll get it. Let's see. And just the relationships, again, I just want to hone in again on that. And that's the relationships of your donors, the people that help you with your event. This year, this is a new thing that I'm going to do this year. Our event is going to have a theme, and everyone will be dressed up for Halloween, but all the ladies that help me in my neighborhood and around Charleston that help me with my fundraiser, they all get to dress to the theme. So they'll get that recognition of helping. And I think that is really important, not just a thank you, but like each person really feeling valued for what they do. Is really important. And then sponsors, I always send handwritten thank you notes. I sent, kind of like Jamie too, a kind of recap of the event, especially if they weren't able to make it. And then Christmas cards, just really staying in touch, like, just kind of be that annoying person, like, remember me, thank you, I'm going to be reaching out to you next year, that sort of thing. You just always want to, every no is a potential yes in the future. So nourish those relationships with your helpers and everything else. And if you take anything away from my little speech, I just really encourage people to jump in. I jumped way in with a big thing, and I was very, very scared, but it was the best thing ever. We're getting started on it again this year. In this last week, I've done a lot, and it's just so rewarding, and it's scary, but jump in. Let's do it. Thank you so much for having me. And back to you, Jerry.
Well, thanks so much, Taylor, for sharing your experience with hosting your event for the first time. Her efforts are a true sentiment to the importance of not being intimidated to ask for help, and the importance of asking for the support from your network of family and friends and leveraging your connections. That clearly paid off big for Taylor in her first year. Congratulations again. Thank you, Julie, Taylor, and Jamie, for taking the time to be here this evening to share your stories stories. We're lucky to have such dedicated volunteers, and big thanks to everyone who took the time in their busy schedule to join us this evening.